everyone, it's Sharon, and today I am bringing you a mini Ulta haul and try on. I picked up a few new things. Well, maybe they're not so new. I think one of them is for sure new. A couple others I've just never really heard about. And one is definitely not new, but I wanted to try it out. So I'll get into that haul really fast, but yes, stay tuned for the application afterwards for that first impression review. I'm really excited about some of these things here in front of me. So let's go ahead and hop on in. So I picked up some new products from LA Girl. Actually, one of them might be new. The other two I'm really not sure about. Tell me below if they are or not. The one I really wanted to try was the LA Girl Tinted Foundation. It's the Buildable Natural Finish, Sheer to Medium Coverage foundation. It says it's hydrating, paraben and fragrance free, and a lightweight formula. So excited to give this a try. I picked mine up in nude. It was the second to lightest shade, so fingers crossed it works because you can't really tell in the bottle what it's gonna look like. Also from LA Girl, I picked up a mascara. It is the Jet Setter Mascara Lash and Go Extreme Length and Dramatic Lift. It just looked really good to me. It does have a natural bristle brush, and I don't know, there was something about the packaging. It drew me in. I wanted to try it. Now this one I definitely was excited to try, also from LA Girl. It's the Jet Setter Liquid Eyeliner in the brush tip formula. You'll know if you've watched any of my videos that I prefer a brush tip to a felt tip. This had a brush tip, so you know I had to try it out. So we'll see how that goes, if it's matte, if it's not, if it's good, if it's not, all that jazz. Now this I've included, well, I'm not sure if I actually talked about it before. I have it in another shade and I wanted to pick it up in another shade. It is from Maybelline. It's their new Hyper Easy liner. It's really thin. It's a retractable liner and it's very, very small and precise. So I have this in brown and I wanted to pick it up in black. It's been really easy to do a smudged wing on the top lashes, so I wanted to pick it up in black. I'll show you how that performs today. And then the last things I picked up were from the Ulta Beauty collection. I'm very excited to try these. I've wanted to for a long time. They had their stuff buy one get one 50% off. So I picked up two of their trios. I picked them up in Lotus Blossom Glow and Summer Safari. Summer Safari is all matte shades. And then the Lotus Blossom, this is a shimmer and this is a shimmer. And it's kind of like a pinky purplish shift shimmer. And this is like just a champagne-y nude shimmer. But they just looked really great for every day, you know, super simple if I'm really, really, you know, in a rush but want to do something. I feel like these both would be so easy to just throw on the eyes but look a little bit more put together without having to pull out a big palette, anything like that. I did just do a declutter on my small eyeshadow palettes, so check that out. These being trios, I almost feel like they're not really palettes. Maybe they are, but I'm excited to have them. So let's go ahead and get started. I will just show you the things that I'm applying, and I'll go off screen for the things that I'm not, just so we can see how these new things perform. Let me know down below if you've tried any of them and what your experiences are with them too. I'm super curious. I have not watched feedback on any of these items. I have not heard anyone talk about them. These are all going to be my legit first impressions for these products. So let's get started. All right, I wanted to swatch these palettes for you. We'll start with this Lotus Blossom first. It doesn't feel super buttery soft, but it also doesn't feel horrible. Ooh, the matte feels fantastic. Okay, there's the matte. Ooh, that's gorgeous. Look how pretty those are. Oh, that's gonna be absolutely gorgeous. You know who would love this palette if it's good is Jessica Braun. She would, because she loves those rosy kind of tones. And then that matte has that rosy kind of shift to it, kind of mauvey. I feel like she would love this palette. So someone go tell her she needs this, because you know she's not going to see my video. That's gorgeous. Even that champagne-y pink, I'm not sure if it'll pick up on camera. It is almost a pink. It's got a bit of a pink shift to it. It's not just a straight, like, nice champagne. I mean, it is. I mean, that's how I describe it, is a champagne. I think that's how I would describe it. I am filming with natural light today, so if the lighting gets wonky, that's why. Okay, let's go in with the mattes. I'm going to do it on my other hand, so bear with me because I'm going to swatch with my left hand, and who knows how that will go since I'm a righty. So I'm really impressed just with the mattes so far, with how they're, like, how they feel upon first swatch. So there they are. Let's see. And I'm not pushing very hard. Very faint on those mattes. I feel like those didn't swatch well. That could definitely be my fault. Let's see if I can build it up. Okay. These mattes did not swatch nearly as good as the others. Also, my hands are super dry, and I even just put lotion on, so I don't know what that deal is. That could also be why it's swatching funny, is the dry combo of my hands, also with the fact that I have lotion on, could be affecting them. The tones themselves are really nice. They're definitely on that warmer side. That middle shade looks like it would be a really neutral, like a neutral transition, but it kind of is pulling like terracotta-y. So I think I'm going to use both of them together just to get a good idea of how they apply. I do have eye primer on already, so let's see. One thing I always do is take like a matte creamy like this color here and kind of brush it in that upper brow bone crease area here. I always do that to kind of just set that primer and help with a blending color. All right, now I'm going to take the matte that's in the Lotus palette, that matte transition shade, with a fluffy brush and just sweep it into the crease. That blended really fast and nice. They did have a lot of color stories in these little trios, depending on what you're looking for, so I did really like that. There weren't any that leaned super just neutral, not cool tone, not warm tone. There was no just straight neutral, which I would like to see, I think. But I was able, to look through all of them and pick out two that I like the color story with. So that's good. It's a little powdery, but not bad. I'm not sure if it will translate. Definitely not bad at all. Okay, I'm going to take a smaller brush and go into the matte palette in this deeper brown down here, because I think it will go really nicely with that shimmer shade in the Lotus palette. I just want to see if we can build up this outer corner before we put on that shimmer. That's pretty nice. I feel like it wasn't so pigmented when you started out that it is hard to work with, but it was easy to build because, yeah, it wasn't like a super pigment, pack of punch kind of shade, but it didn't take me long to build that up at all, which is great. And I do think that this brown is going to look great with that pinky shimmer. Look how easy that blended out. Wow. I'm just going to take the fluffy brush that had that cream color before and kind of soften the edges here. Okay, now I'm going to first use a brush to apply the shimmer shade here. And then I'm going to use my finger if I feel like the brush didn't pack a punch. This is my favorite flat shader, the MAC 242S. It's a classic. Okay, I tapped off the excess. Let's see. Not a whole lot going on there. Not at all. Okay, brush, poo. Let's see if the finger swatch will do better. Much. I'm not surprised. That is a gorgeous shade. It's not so intense, but it's also not so boring. Like it does have a little bit of that purpley shift to it, but it's not so bold that someone would think like, wow, why is that lady wearing purple eyeshadow in the middle of the day? I mean, that's something I would do, but I know not everybody wants to do that. I think it's beautiful. Okay, this is definitely giving me vibes of the Rosewater palette from e.l.f., the Bite Size Beauty palettes. I don't have that here in front of me because it was one that I decluttered in my small palette declutter because it wasn't my favorite, but this does very much remind me of it. All right, we're going to try this eyeliner next. I'm so excited for this. Let's give it a swatch. Ooh, that was terrible. But I literally just wiped my hand off with a makeup wipe. Let me do it like on my wrist. Oh gosh, let me shake it. Nothing's coming out. I'm so excited for this too. Hold on. You guys. Nothing. Nothing is coming out. The little bit that is, you can barely see. Oh my gosh. I just swatched the heck out of this thing, and I think I kind of ruined the brush tip, but nothing is coming out. Like, I've tried shaking it. It's not getting started. I don't know if it's already just dried out or what, but now I've even like ruined the brush tip. If you can see that, it's like knobby at the end, and I've kind of messed up the bristles. So I think even if I was able to get the product out, now the brush is ruined. That stinks because it looks like it's matte, and look, it like, let's see. It's not smearing at all, so I feel like it has potential to be good. Maybe I got a bad one. I might take it back to Ulta and see if they will let me exchange it and like try it right there in the store and see if like maybe I just got one that's dried up and old, or maybe this is just a bad product. So that's a total fail. I mean, it's coming off on my arm now a little bit, but not anywhere where I'd be able to actually get like a line with it. So I'm not even going to try it because I don't want to mess up my eye makeup. So that's a total fail. That is going to go back in the box and back to Ulta. Which, if you didn't know that already, you can return things to Ulta. You just go in there and say like, this stunk. Like, just take them your receipt, take them this. They can look you up too, I think, if you don't have your receipt, if you just have your, you know, if you used your beauty account there, your Beauty Insiders account, or whatever it's called at Ulta, they can look it up. So just a tip there. If you do use something and it's terrible, you can return it. They will not make you feel bad about it. I return things all the time when they don't work out, especially if they're more expensive. If it's super cheap and it's just something that I'm being picky, I don't return it. But if it's something like this where it flat out, like, I'm not going to be able to use this, this looks intense, like, dang, well, you got pigment out of it, I would not be able to put this on my eyes, I'm telling you. It would not work. All right, since that liner didn't work out, we're going to use the Maybelline, the Hyper Easy liner. This is the black shade. Like I said, I have it in brown. I have mine in the shade Deep Brown 002. They do have another brown shade in 003 that I saw at Ulta yesterday when I was picking this up. I just couldn't remember which brown shade I already had, so I went with the black. But just know that they do have several different shades. So let's see. Okay, let's see if I can show you how to apply this. I did find with my other one that if I twisted it up too much and put too much pressure, the tip would break off since it is just retractable. But we're going to give this a go, okay? This is kind of how I do it. I take a puff. I do pull it out just slightly just to give, you know, not a wrinkly surface for the liner. And then I'm just going to like smudge it on my lower lash line. Okay, there we go. And I've even got a little bit of a baby wing. Not the best I've done with these hyper liners. I will say, just looking at it right now, I prefer the brown. When smudging out this upper lash line, I just think this looks kind of grayish, and I don't think it is the liner itself. I think it's just because I used light pressure. It's on top of another shadow. So I think in that case, I prefer the brown because it looks a little bit more natural, but let's go ahead and do the other eye. So we've got wings that are sisters and not twins today, but that's okay because once we put on mascara, you won't be able to tell. Now there is that really thin micro pencil. I think it's by Revlon, if I remember correctly. I think it's Revlon. It might be L'Oreal. I would have to pull it out of my collection, and I don't want to do that right now. But there is another company that makes a very thin liner like this, and I would be interested to compare the two. It's been a minute since I've used those other micro pencils, and I've never used them on the upper lash line, so I'll be interested to compare the two there and see which one I like better. But if you do like to use a pencil liner on your upper lash line instead of like a harsh liquid, I do think this is pretty good. So I've curled my lashes, and now we're going to try out the LA Girl Jet Setter Mascara. Let's sure hope it works better than their liner did, because that was poo. I'm not going to use a lash primer today because I want to see just how the mascara works on its own. So let's give it a try. The packaging is really cute with the ombre black and pink and the metallic. The lid is an interesting shape. Do you see that? It's got like an angled bit at the top. So let's see here. The wand is a little bit fatter than I thought it was going to be, but it does taper at the end just a little bit. So let's see how this goes. Well, I was already messy and I got some on my eyelid, but do my lashes just look like feathery and light, but like voluminous and long to you? Because that's how I feel, and I've barely even done one coat. That's just one coat there. I did get some of my lashes on my eyelid, but I'll fix that later. How does that look though? I feel like that looks really nice and natural, but full and fluffy. Like, that's the vibe I'm getting, is like a fluffy lash. I'll be really interested to see how this does with a primer, but I do want to see how it performs strictly on its own this first time around. If you like a really clumpy mascara that really defines your lashes, you might not like this just right out the gate. It does feel like more of a natural look. But I feel like it's one of the prettiest natural mascaras I've tried in a long time, because it really does separate, and I feel like it lengthens but volumizes without getting clumpy and without looking too harsh. You know, sometimes you can go overboard with your mascara and it ends up looking really harsh, and this doesn't. Okay, that already feels like it dried pretty good. And doing the second coat is already like building it up even more. I like the second coat even more. It's, I feel like it looks just that much darker and more defined. You can see the difference between this eye and this eye. But oh my goodness, I'm loving this so far. It definitely, LA Girl, you're redeeming yourself for that horrible eyeliner with your mascara. This is good. I hope it doesn't smudge or transfer or flake, because so far, I really like this. Got a little bit of clumping happening right there, but I think that's probably my fault, not the mascara. I think my application is always kind of wonky on this eye, but holy cow, I'm loving how this eye looks a lot. I need to just clean up that mascara on my eyelid once it completely dries. I'm not going to touch it just yet. We'll clean it up later. Next is what I'm really excited for, and that is the foundation. I am so pumped to try this out. I know I've seen some people talk about it, but I haven't, or like mention that they wanted to try it, but I have not actually seen anyone apply it yet, so I'm very, very excited for this. I really do love how that mascara looks. That looks beautiful. Okay, it's got a dropper here. Let's see how this goes on my hand and what the color is going to look like. I think that color might work out really well. Yeah, it like pretty much blended right into my hand. You can hardly see it. It has a nice consistency. It doesn't really smell like anything. So for this side, I'm going to use a sponge applicator, and this side I'm going to use this brush from Tarte, this foundation brush, to see how it goes. We'll have to try finger application some other time. That might honestly be one of the better ways to apply it. I always prefer a sponge over anything else, so I'll be interested to see how this applies, if the sponge soaks anything up. So let's go into it. Okay, definitely light coverage for sure. I also didn't mention I don't have any sort of primer on, just my moisturizer. So you can definitely still see freckles, some redness there. I can see a little bit of my pores, but I feel like maybe on a separate second application, you won't be able to really tell. I need to do this part too. I've just done my cheek right now, but I'm hoping that it will build up a little bit more. So this side has nothing. This side has some foundation. Okay, so I squeezed it on my face initially. I'm going to try putting a little bit just on the sponge. It definitely is more of like a foundation consistency than a tinted, you know, hydrator or moisturizer, because it's not as liquidy as some others. Oh, I forgot about these swatches over here. I need to wipe off from that liner. This kind of product is just so popular right now. When I squeeze it onto the sponge, it doesn't automatically just soak in. That's why I say it's more of a foundation consistency, but definitely that lighter coverage. So no foundation, foundation. Honestly, I'm seeing from side to side not the biggest difference in how my skin looks. I've got a little bit of redness here that it is covering just a bit over here. You can still see a little bit peeking through, but not bad. You can definitely still see all of my little freckles on my face. So let's see how the brush applies over here, and then maybe we'll do another coat over here, see if it builds up any more. Let's try it with a brush. On my face, I do like that applicator actually. And now I'm just going to take this Tarte flat top brush and kind of stipple it. Well, it looks really pretty with a brush. I don't have any streaking happening. I just know I don't love applying foundation with a brush. I always have one on hand just in case, but this is not my preferred method of application. But I will say I'm not having any troubles getting it to blend in quickly with the brush. And I do like this brush from Tarte. It's new. Okay, let's do a second coat application with the brush. So brush, sponge, honestly, I see no difference in application. I'd be really interested to see how your fingers do, so I will have to play around with that, you know, off camera on another day. But both applied nicely. I honestly don't see any difference in the level of coverage with two coats using the sponge and using the brush. So I think it's really your preferred method of application. I do want to go in with one more layer, see if I can build it up just a little bit more. I am liking how it feels. It's already dried down into like a, you just can't feel it. It just feels nice. It is very lightweight. I'm going to do a third application now and see if I can't build it up any more. Okay, well, one thing I'll say is this is a perfect shade match for me. Like, perfect. I haven't blended it down my neck at all, and I really can't see any difference, any line at all. So if you're anywhere close to my skin tone, the shade I got was nude. And at least with the Ulta display, it was the second to lightest. I'm not sure online, but I did get the shade nude. So that's working really well. I do feel like it got a little bit more coverage doing that third coat, so I'll do it with the brush on the other side and see if that does the same thing. I'm assuming it will. Okay, we've got it all done. Brush, sponge. I think honestly like the sponge better. I just think it goes faster. I think honestly it even covered a little bit more of my redness versus on this side, but that could also be that I was like beating my face with the brush. Who knows? So far, my first impression on application is that I love this. There have been, I mean, brands left and right coming out with their own version of like a tinted hydrator. This one is called a tinted foundation, so I think that one does make it a little bit different. It's not as liquidy as some of the tinted hydrators going around the market right now. I think this is great. This is one of the best ones I've tried in a minute. I just recently tried the Maybelline Fit Me one. Do not buy that. It's garbage. Everyone has said so. It's true. It's no good. Don't waste your money. This so far though, if you're looking for a really easy, lightweight foundation that's not going to feel sticky, it's easy to apply, you can get light to medium coverage. I don't even know if I'd call this medium. I do think it's light coverage, but I think it's nice coverage. If you're just looking to like perfect the skin just a little bit, I'll keep you posted on how it applies with the fingers, but so far, sponge was super, super easy. It didn't soak up excess product, and I think the finish is really nice. I do think it's a natural finish. It's not really dewy, but it's not matte. It's kind of that nice in-between satin kind of finish. I really like it so far. So we'll see how the rest of my makeup plays with it and how it kind of wears. So I'll keep you updated on that in a later video, just my thoughts on the total, wear time. Does it, is it any good? That sort of thing. So stay tuned for that. I will do an updated review, but just on this initial application, my first impression thought is that this is fantastic. And if you've been wanting to try it, run out to your Ulta, see if they have it. I'm not sure if any of I think it's CVS maybe that carries LA Girl. I'm not sure if they're going to have it or not, but definitely check it out if you're interested. All right, so we are all finished. Some of those things worked really well, others not so great. On my face, I just used some of my favorites. For bronzer, I did my Hoola Light, I did a L'Oreal blush, a Becca highlighter, and then for concealer, I used the NYX Born to Glow concealer. I've been loving that lately. And then on my lower lash line, I just smudged a little bit of that really pretty mauvey pinky color under my lashes and then hit it with some MAC Giga Black Lash. So that's what we did to finish it. I did not use any setting powder. I did not use any setting spray because I want to see really how this performs. So far, I'm loving how the foundation looks. That is by far the standout product of this whole try on and haul. I think it's fantastic. I can see myself using this a lot. It felt so comfortable. It dried down really fast. It's not sticky. It doesn't have a harsh smell. It's got a great finish. The shade match for me, I mean, spot on, perfect. It applied well with a brush. It applied well with a sponge. So far, I'm just really impressed with that foundation. I think it's fantastic. I also really am liking the eyeshadow. The more I'm looking at it in the mirror, I'm like, that's beautiful. And especially with my brown eyes, I'm really liking that purpley pink shade with my brown eyes. I think it's really pretty. I do think that Rosewater palette is very, very similar to this Lotus Flower one here. However, I think this matte shade is better for my skin tone than the one that came in that e.l.f. Bite Size palette. That matte shade that's similar to this, it's too ashy, too cool tone. It just didn't look flattering on my skin. This one I had much better luck with. So something to keep in mind there. These are, I think, a little bit more pricey. I want to say they're $12, but I got them buy one, get one half. So, I mean, not super cheap, but also if you think about buying single shadows, it's not horrible in the grand scheme of things. Those e.l.f. ones, of course, more affordable. They're like $3, but just something to consider if you've been interested. I don't think that those are bad. I don't know they're going to be my favorite palettes in the world, but I do think they're good so far for a very quick, easy look. The micro liner, I do really, really like that. This was just a total fail, this liquid liner. Like I said, I'll keep you updated if it happened to be just a fluke with this one. If you've tried it and had the same experience, let me know. The mascara I do really like. I did have better luck with it on my right eye than my left. It got a little bit clumpy over here, but that could just be also how my lashes are falling these days. I do love how this looks. To me, this looks very soft, feathery, light, but defined. So I would say this is more of like a natural looking mascara, but in the best way possible. You know what I mean? So again, I'll keep you updated. This, of course, is just first impressions. I'll let you know if my thoughts change at any point in time. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, like it, subscribe if you haven't and you want to see more videos like this. I would appreciate it, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.